but I'm going to show you how to fix your Modern Warfare if it's like running laggy or anything like that. If first I'm just going to say clean it out. If it's even if it's a laptop and you think it's complicated or whatever, it's not. Just there's a couple screws, take it off and clean out the vents for the GPU and the CPU for both of them. They'll be dusty if you haven't cleaned them in a while. Clean them, get a laptop cooling pad if you have a laptop, and if you did all that, and even if you did all the driver updates, there's something else you could try too. And that's what I'm gonna show you. You're gonna right click on the start menu and go to device manager. Super simple. First thing that I would recommend is just go into firmware and right clicking on it and then clicking update. And when it says search automatically, go with that option. They know it's Windows operating system that's doing this. It knows what to look for. And if you haven't done this, then it will probably need an update. It will restart your computer, and it also restarts your BIOS, which is very important for how the operating system talks, especially when playing games. And so if that hasn't been updated in a long time, your game could be laggy because of that. Other things is just, right click on the desktop area and go to your GPU control panel. Go to the 3D settings that pop up. Go to program settings. Go to the specific game that you want to play, Modern Warfare. I did all of this too, and honestly, none of it made a difference. It made small differences. The biggest difference was updating the firmware, and kind of like gave my whole entire operating system a refresh. Kind of just updates how it communicates with the hardware and how the hardware communicates with the other hardware that it needs to communicate with. Things of that sort. So yeah, you can go in here and also do the GPU control panel. Also, you could go to the lower bar right here and you type in graphics. It'll take you to, or the graphics settings will pop up. Click on that. Choose the app you want. You might not find Modern Warfare in here. You can just do BattleNet because you're on PC, and that's who the Call of Duty people do business with for the PC players. So yeah, like, subscribe, let me know if I missed anything vital. Oh yeah, when you go here, you'll click options and then high performance. If you have it on power saving, it will automatically use your integrated GPU, which is like Intel. It's not horrible, but it's not suitable for gameplay, especially when compared to NVIDIA GeForce. So yeah, you select high performance. It tells you right there, high performance GPUs. It'll use the one that we want to use. So select high performance, and that's from the graphics settings. So there's quite a few things you could do. Graphics settings, the NVIDIA control panel. To do drivers, I mean, that's simple. Just Google how to do a driver, how to roll back a driver, how to install it. It's super simple. You just go to like the website, to NVIDIA website, and just sift through the drivers, and they're all basically the same. You can't really see the difference, so you have to go to Reddit and see who has the best deals and what driver was the best for the longest time, and try to use that one and see if it still works for the game. It's a lot of nonsense. The driver I use currently, which I will say I think does run the most smooth, is not the most updated driver. I have a GTX 1060 6 gig, and my my driver, I got super lost there for a second, but it's, yeah, this one, driver date. See, it was installed on January. They do new drivers like every month, every couple months. So you can see down here we're in July now. So yeah, it's been about 6. The one that they did around January, that's the one I'm using, and I like it the best. Every single time I start up Call of Duty, it does ask me to play or to install to update my drivers, and I just say no every single time. If none of that works, just go to right click on the Start tab, go to Apps and Features, click on Startup, and turn all of these off. And if it needs to turn them back on, it will. But these are all the apps that run in the background while other things are happening. So while you're playing a video game, this is taking up your CPU space during that time. So you want to turn all of these off. You don't want any of these to start up. You don't want any of these to run in the background. Nothing like that. You want all of your startup tasks to be off. These are the things that are just gonna like pop up as soon as you turn your computer on, and they might not actually pop up, but they will affect your CPU usage when you turn your computer on. So if you turn all these off. Also, there's your computer's kind of like hub. You should have one. Like this is Armory Crate with Asus. It's kind of their standard thing. Tells you the temperature of the CPU and the GPU, as well as letting you select what setting you'd like the fans to be on. So make sure your fans are up. Yeah, a lot of it is temperature. It's not going to let itself melt. It will run slow for you and make you upset before it melts itself. It is pre-programmed to not let itself melt. It will simply stop doing work to cool off. If the fans won't cool it off, it'll stop doing work to cool off, which causes lower FPS. So the cooler you could keep, if you could keep your laptop on like an ice box, that's wonderful. With how hot these things get, that'd be wonderful. If you're pushing 100 degrees Celsius, if you're pushing even 90 degrees Celsius is okay. 100 is, you know, that you're starting to get into some gray area. Once you're at 100, you don't want to be sitting there for entirely too long. So yeah, get something like this. If you don't have something like the Armory Crate or anything, you can get the MSI Afterburner. I've played with this a little bit. I know a lot of people talk about it. I'm sure it has some cool, neat, nifty features to it. Looks like it monitors the GPU. Yeah, GPU. Oh, cool. So it's kind of looking at both. Yeah, so if you don't have something like the Armory Crate already in your computer, you can get something like this, the MSI Afterburner. This also, you can, if you really want to get fancy with this, you can go against the will of the operating system and crank your CPU and GPU, so to say, to the limits, beyond the limits. You can break them with software like MSI Afterburners. So yeah, be careful with this stuff. Last couple notes, you could try scan and repair. That's where they kind of scan through all the files, make sure everything is where it needs to be, nothing's all jumbled with or messed with. Go right click on your Start tab again, go to System, then go to Storage, and make sure you're not too close. Even if you're like 20 gigs like this and you have an update and it bumps it up like to where you only have 10 gigs left, and it's gonna start running out of place to partition things. So it won't, even if it has enough space for the files that it's adding, it doesn't like not being able to cut big chunks off for necessary things. And so that's going to make it start running kind of wonky. It's not going to like it. It's just going to run uncomfortably. Even just this, how there's only 20 gigs left, this is not the best way to have your storage. So have a secondary storage, like your D drive. Have something in your D drive. That way you can store the huge 200 gig games like Modern Warfare. Yeah, so keep your PC cold or not hot as possible. Update your firmware. Update or not update your drivers, depending. Um, Make sure your storage isn't maxed out. You might have to, if you're still getting everything messed up, try plugging an Ethernet cord in. Make sure it's not an internet thing with your actual internet service provider. Yeah, best of luck to you.